You're listening to Leisure World Direct. I'm your host, GRF Communications Manager Emma DiMaggio, and I'm joined by Interim Executive Director Dave Potter and Recreation Director Jesse Cripps. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome aboard, Jesse.
Thank you.
Today's topic is the 2025 Amphitheater concert season. This season will begin on June 26, 2025, kicking off 11 weeks of concerts in the Leisure World Amphitheater. Jesse, for new residents and those who haven't gone to a concert before, can you set the scene for me?
Yes. The Leisure World Seal Beach Amphitheater is a beautiful 2,500-seat venue. Our shows are on Thursdays throughout the summer. We have 11 shows this season. We're skipping a week due to the July 4th holiday. Our events run about 90 minutes, and it's people casually come and go at the beginning of the show, at the end of the show, and there's almost always seats available for everybody. We also curate some food trucks for the event, for each concert, and some of the food trucks that we will have this season will be Caffel's, Lucille's, Baby's Burger OC, the German Yum Truck, and Scooter's Italian Ice.
Nice. Am I correct in saying that these events aren't just for Leisure World residents?
No, Leisure World residents, authorized residents, can bring guests or caregivers.
Okay. They just have to be accompanied by
Yes.
them, right? Yeah. Can you give me a preview of each of the concerts and who will be playing this season?
Yeah, on June 26th, we have Anthony Bernasconi, the ultimate Michael Bublé experience. I think the most notable detail about this show and what makes us very excited to continue hosting Anthony Bernasconi is the 17-piece orchestra.
Wow.
People need to understand what a luxurious experience that is. And it's actually a little surprising that we have access to that. So it's kind of a special thing that we won't always be available to us. But people really should make a point to come to this show. It's just the significance of that musical experience makes it unique and special for the season.
Yeah. I hear he's a favorite, too. He's played previously at other amphitheaters.
Yes, he has, and he's done some special events for us as well. And he is beloved for sure.
Who's next?
We have Abbey Road, a tribute to the Beatles. This is not just the great music, but it's costumes and banter too. It's a real honest-to-goodness showmanship show. It's not just let's listen to the Beatles music.
Nice. Keep it coming.
We have the Hollywood Stones. This is a real special tribute to the Rolling Stones, given that they really bring all the attitude and swagger that made the Stones famous. So if you're a Stones fan, you get ready for a real performance with attitude for representing the Rolling Stones.
Who isn't a Stones fan?
You'd be surprised that the Stones are slightly on the harder side as far as popular music. Still.
I'm excited for the Stones and for the Michael Bublé experience so far. So let's keep going through the list.
Yeah, let's keep going through the list. So the next show on July 24th is $1 Million McGraw, a tribute to Tim McGraw. Now, country music has wide appeal, but this particular show really captures the sounds of Nashville and Memphis. So it's not just that we're satisfying some country music fans. This is really in a certain pocket that makes it real special experience, whilst also having wide appeal.
I hear that people like to dress up at the country shows as well.
Yes, they do.
Cowboy hats.
It probably rivals the people that come to the Jimmy Buffett show that have some flair.
Yeah. Gotta whip out the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
On July 31st, we have Kenny Metcalf, a tribute to Elton John. Kenny has mastered the talent and antics of this beloved rock star. He really brings that showmanship, that passion, that exuberance that Elton John is noted for. And we're very happy to have him back.
Okay.
On August 7th, we have The Long Run, a tribute to the Eagles. This is truly a faithful recreation of the Eagles experience. They have international acclaim for nailing the Eagles, and that's no easy feat. The Eagles' music is complex, and it is sophisticated. It is the band is made up of 3 or 4 guitar players that are some of the greatest guitar players in the world. So the fact that they're nailing it makes it a really special experience. So I think it's going to be a very popular show. So you should probably get here a little early. Mm. On August 14th, we have Linda Ronstadt revival. Shannon Ray brings her passion for Ronstadt to the stage as she weaves stories from her life and musical career. This is a person that isn't doing this just for her profession. I think she's a devoted fan of Linda Ronstadt and brings that to how she embodies the performances. So we're big fans of hers, and we're very happy to have her back. And it's going to be a lot of hit songs. August 28th, we have James Manning, a tribute to Neil Diamond. This is a real sing-along show. Neil Diamond has some of the most memorable songs in the world in the history of rock and roll music. So this is a show that we really encourage that audience interaction, and James also encourages that audience interaction. So it should, Neil Diamond has very wide appeal. So it's not going to just be diehard fans that show up. So it's going to be a real party. On September 4th, Creedence, a tribute to Creedence Clearwater Revival. Creedence captures the band's rock and roll style and the truly original voice of John Fogerty. That is very hard to do. John Fogerty has one of the strongest, most individual voices in rock and roll music, and really captured an era, particularly here in Southern California. This reminds me of Roy Orbison. It's like finding somebody that can actually pull off that voice is very rare. You can have plenty of people singing those songs, but having somebody that actually gets to the same space as John Fogerty is magic.
And their name is Creedence?
Creedence.
Like ED at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
And on September 11, we're very happy to host, once again, Stone Soul, which has been a real treasure for us. They are, as long as I've been here, they've been growing in their career and becoming more a wonderful band than it being probably a hobby for them. They were always a great value. They were always inexpensive and got the ravest reviews.
I've heard reviews. Every time they play, I hear people raving about them.
And I have to admit, when I'm backstage during their show, it is the time that I most feel lucky to be here. They are being on backstage and watching them perform, and their energy and their musicianship and their absolute devotion to Motown and soul music. These are people that a lot of times that people doing tributes aren't necessarily reverent to the people they're tributing. This is a group that is absolutely reverent to that music, and it comes across in the show. That's our last show.
Tell me about, I mean, this is a wide range of different artists with different popularity. How do you even go about choosing who's playing and finding these people?
We begin planning after the completion of the prior summer series satisfaction survey. So as soon as as soon as the series is complete, we do a survey that goes in the paper that where they can rate their performances and provide comments. That survey is invaluable information to us, and it's the beginning of our planning for the next season. So as soon as we wait a long time to make sure we capture as many surveys as possible, and those surveys come in for maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So we carefully aggregate that information. And then once that's completed, or we kind of are ready to make some decisions, we take that information and we begin plugging in shows that we want to bring back, and we also use the comments to plug in shows, new ideas for shows. Look for opportunities from those suggestions.
What are some of the biggest challenges with planning amphitheater season?
Some of the biggest challenges are honestly we have a great deal of circumstances here that are beneficial to us. So, for instance, LA or Orange County is probably has more entertainers per square foot than any place on earth. So you're not paying for travel, or you don't often pay for travel. Thursdays are an easy night to book shows. So, you can always, you find an artist, the chances of them being available are very high. Our venue is considered a private show, so entertainers can perform in neighboring cities where their contracts will stipulate that they can't perform within 50 miles for, a month.
Oh.
So this being a private show means that they can play in Seal Beach, they can play in Huntington Beach the same week.
Interesting.
So if somebody's traveling, that makes it also huge because those contract stipulations means they can add this show, the next night
Without violating
the contract. So it's really great circumstances that makes it less challenging to to produce shows here. This one is that there's one more thing that makes this fantastic here is that everybody gets home by 10 p.m. So I think people would be surprised how many entertainers enjoy going to bed early. So when you tell them, yeah, you're in at 5 o'clock, you're out by 10 o'clock, it just makes it a real easy night for them. So what we're left with is probably the only challenge that we have is assessing the professionalism of the artist, because there's a lot of people that project a lot of professionalism and experience, but when they get here, you realize that they're not as professional and they're not as experienced, and they have a little bit more. They have some misbehavior in them, So, for instance, we would have brought a couple of shows back from last year, but we had some artists that were, really people enjoyed the shows, but the artists basically weren't listening to the staff as far as following policy and things like that. So that's maybe the only challenge.
Yeah. I'm sure the challenge, sometimes I see pictures of the amphitheater concerts, and maybe this isn't for every show, and there are spots, but sometimes it looks packed.
Yes, it is. It is, especially about a half an hour after the show. It really fills in. The great thing is, I hope people, I'd love to convey to this community that everything's working fantastically. The amphitheater is full virtually every show. Everybody's comfortable. We don't have people turned away. There's always a place for people to sit. Since the audience is on benches, when the show starts, people create a healthy distance from the people that they're not with, and that slowly gets compressed till everybody's snuggled up together. So there's always room for more people to come sit, and everybody's wonderful about making space for others. So it's kind of an ideal situation in that we're full, and you'd be surprised how many people in my professional experience would come to me after a show and say, I had a less enjoyable time because there was only half the audience was full, and they wished that the audience was full. And I think to myself, you should have just been more comfortable at the show, but it just has to do with the energy.
Yeah.
People want the energy of it being full, which we have. But we're also, there's no like intense desperation to get seats or people turned away. And that's why I place a really high value on how casual people can be. It's such a low stress, problem-free, kind of a perfect environment that we are just trying not to break it.
Yeah. I think this is a good opportunity, talking about comfort, to note that you also don't have to worry about someone standing up and dancing in front of you, because there are dedicated areas for people to dance as well, right?
There are dedicated areas for people to dance, and I think a lot of people that want to dance in various unauthorized areas should understand that this isn't about enforcing a fire law or enforcing a policy. It's about being considerate to the other people at the show. This is something that I am personally quite a curmudgeon about when I go to shows a lot, and I am constantly grumpy when I'm at shows because people are being inconsiderate.
Yeah.
So really, I'm appealing to people that are getting carried away by the music. Please, this is 100% about your neighbors.
Yeah.
And them being able to, like, some people, it's not easy for them to stand. It's not easy for them to move because you're in their way. They came to see the show, and there are designated places to dance to your heart's content where you're not bothering anybody.
Yeah. Can we get into the nuts and bolts of the amphitheater season and how they're supported financially? Who pays for all of this entertainment?
Yeah. Well, GRF has a budget for the concert series every year. And this year, the budget is $110,000 for 11 shows.
Wow.
Once again, we normally would do 12 shows, but it was kind of serendipitous that we wanted to cut the budget a little bit, but also the show that would have been around July 4th was really going to be challenging logistically to achieve all of our other events and celebrations and the concert series. So we just canceled that show. There's no, as far as I know, there isn't a plan to reduce the shows long term. We also budget $38,000 for production expenses, and that's the technicians that run the show. this is, I just want to say that that's my area. That's my background is the technical side of shows, and generally speaking, when I got into management, it was challenging to consistently perform a flawless show. This is an absolutely miraculous relationship that we have with our technical production company. They constantly, consistently perform flawlessly, and the ownership that they take over the shows is it puts me completely at ease. I don't have to worry at all, virtually ever. So I am very happy to praise them, and I hope that the community in general appreciates, I guess, the show, the quality of the shows doesn't just rest on the performers, but it also rests on the crew that we hire to come in and make the shows beautiful. The total actual costs for the series will come in less than $150,000. The projected expenses are looking substantially less. It's it probably will land somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 by the end of the season. Now, sponsors provide significant revenue to offset these costs, and for the first time this year, we have established an entire series sponsorship from Gasper Montier. This elite sponsor brought the total revenue to over $60,000. So this season is looking fantastic, and we're really excited for developing more revenue ideas in the future, which will enable us to do bigger and better shows.
That's awesome. Can you take me through some of the rules of shows as well? For people who haven't gone before, we will print them in the newspaper every week, but for those who need a reminder or who haven't attended a show before, what should they know?
Some of the most relevant rules, policy that we have for the amphitheater that we really want to encourage people to be mindful of. And I'm trying to preserve that casual, stress-free environment. I don't want to be, I don't want to, really police, and I really think that detracts from the audience experience. So I'm really would like to appeal to people, understanding that these policies exist to make everybody comfortable. So one of the first policies that people should understand is that they can enter the theater 90 minutes before a show. There might be people in there before 6 o'clock. The show starts at 7:30. So the policy says you can come in and sit at 6 o'clock. The reason we have that is, obviously, so everybody has a fair chance at getting the good seats that they want if they're willing to wait. Authorized residents and their guests or caregivers may attend the concerts. This is a very positive policy because it's kind of a luxury that the community is affording residents to bring outside people to the shows. It would be kind of a radical shift and preclude a lot of people if people that are closest to them, that they enjoy things with, aren't allowed to come to the shows. Then it almost automatically means they won't come to the shows. So this is another issue where we have to just try to preserve that and not break it.
I'd like to note that every single time I've met someone outside of the walls who knows about Leisure World, it's because they've attended an amphitheater show with their grandmother or with their parents. So when I tell people that I work here with GRF. They always mention the amphitheater shows.
That's exactly right. After the show's over and people kind of come out of the amphitheater raving about the show, I will meet people. People will walk up to me because they see my badge, and they'll be so complimentary, and I'll be talking to them for 20 minutes, and then I'll find out that they're a guest, and they say, "This is such a wonderful community. Mm-hmm. This is such a beautiful place." They rave about what a wonderful place this is. So when that first happened to me, it kind of clicked. I got it. I understood that it's wonderful publicity for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few other policies are, and this is probably the most challenging one, is reserving seats, saving seats with coats, with bags, with, I've seen people try and reserve 20, seats across one bench. That is prohibited. And I don't know how rigorous we might have to be in order to not have that get out of control, but it is a very sensitive subject that is often a topic in committee every year. So I really, it's something that I definitely want to communicate that. Only authorized videographers are allowed to record the shows. People pulling out their cell phone and recording a clip of it is not really what we're talking about. But it's particularly people that show up with a tripod or something like that. That's really inappropriate. It's something that obstructs aisles, obstructs people's view, and it really should be something that the band has some agency in, whether or not they're recording it. That leads to also no tripods obstructing views or blocking aisles. But last but not least is please don't stand or dance in front of seated guests, obstructing their view. Mm-hmm. That's probably the other most important policy that I can implore people to consider their neighbors. It happens. Sometimes it just happens at the very end of the show, but please consider the courtesy or the discourtesy in that.
There's one more thing I'd like to touch on, and that's getting to and from the amphitheater shows. How can people, what's the system, since obviously parking is limited around the amphitheater itself?
Yes. A lot of people walk. A lot of people bike. Certainly people drive and park because the parking lots are completely full. But you can also take the bus. The event buses, they're going to be marked as event buses. They run on a circuit through the community, and you can go out to your nearest street and wave them down, and they will stop and pick you up. And between 6 and 7:30, they will continuously drop people at the amphitheater. All of the buses line up by the end of the show to load as many people as they can at once and take them home. It's important to note that we will not have on-call service during the concerts. So everything's kind of focused on transporting as many concert goers as possible. So it's really about that route. And, you can reach out to Grant and Transportation if you want any clarity on the route. And then last but not least, handicap transport, you will need to get set up for an appointment for the concert specifically. And they have a bus that will be at their disposal.
All right, everyone, I hope you enjoy the 2025 amphitheater season. You've been listening to Leisure World Direct.